Domestic Violence Act under the police department as well. And she is running her own webinars frequently on the same issues. She is working in the area of marital and relationship counseling and the adolescent counseling as well. So today, on behalf of the member of the Positives Wellness and Counseling Centers, I would like to welcome Jyoti Sapru here so that she can present their views on relationship counseling, and people, those who join this session, they may have an opportunity to learn some more tips on the emotional part and the relationship part, of course, in the manner of counseling. So, Jyoti Sapru, madam, the stage is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for having me today. And good evening, everybody. We look forward to a nice interactive session because this is a very relevant topic which we all deal with as counselors and otherwise also in our personal lives. So I hope today we all go back a little more learned and evolved from our relationship issues and spread the light in the society. So thank you, Divakar sir, for having me. Thank you so much. I will start my presentation, sir, by sharing the screen.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yeah, sir, is it visible? The PPT is visible to everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. So I wanted to start by basically, like we all know, कि हर relation हमारे लिए either we are born into it or we choose the relationship. And today we are talking about marriage, relationship, and all kinds of counseling that evolves around two people who choose to be together. So this is such a beautiful gift given to us by God that we choose to be with somebody. But eventually, due to some kind of stress or our own thinking pattern, mindset, and preconceived notions, there is a lot of adjustment issues and teething problems. If in the initial stages we are able to outgrow those problems, then it is smooth sailing. Yes, ups and downs will be there, but definitely we as counselors today play a more important role because the families have become very singular, they have become nuclear, and there are no elders in the family to guide or to speak to. So this is where the role of the counselor comes in, and we just need to be there to give a listening ear to people having issues and help them get over it in a positive way. So I have made this small presentation which I'm going to share with all of you, and I hope we all like it.
Yes, ma'am. One more thing.
Yes, sir.
Please start recording from your side. Or you scroll down part, record. Click on record.
Okay, sir.
Record. Just down at the bottom side where you have the share screen option.
सर अभी तो वो ऊपर चला गया, मैं एक मिनट फिर से ट्राई करती हूँ.
You stop this presentation, yes, and then you start recording.
Yeah.
Please start recording.
Yes, sir.
So
recording.
Cloud, just select cloud.
So recording is on. Yes, it's recording.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So where it says save on cloud now?
On cloud. Okay.
Fine, no problem. You can start now. You can start.
Okay. Okay. So I hope everybody is here with me tonight to understand this subject better for the benefit of all. We have to help them to become better because already they are in a relationship. So the relationship is only happening because people are happy together, and we are here to help them become better. Because, you know, usually when we say that the relationships are hard, it is so common and it is so cliche now. Almost everybody is talking like, you know, uh, it's so difficult, I'm not able to get along. But it's also true to a certain extent. Even when people get along really well, stress and daily life can cause conflicts that seem difficult or even impossible to resolve. Relationship counseling can help people in their tough situations to work through their problems and move beyond them and be better partners overall. So what I mean to say here is that it's not necessary that there is a major issue, but there are stresses and daily life challenges which lead to small little conflicts, and being in a kind of a relationship counseling can help us get through these tough situations, and we can move ahead and help each other become a better partner. So when to seek relationship therapy or counseling, what are the red flags, or when do we recognize that this person needs relationship therapy? Many people believe that you should only seek relationship counseling when separation or divorce are looming large on your mind, but that is often too little, too late. Relationship therapy should begin as soon as the problems get in the way of our daily lives. Here are some signs that you might benefit from a consultation. You are having trouble expressing your feelings to one another. This is so important because I feel communication is the root of all relationships. So if you're having any kind of trouble expressing your feelings to one another, excuse me, or you have one or more unsolvable disagreement. Now, what do we understand by this? A disagreement is bound to happen because we are two people with two minds and two thinking patterns. So it is okay that we agree to disagree. Disagreement will be there. But if that becomes consistent and it is unsolvable, then there is definitely a need for counseling. Then again, if there is withdrawal, criticism, or contempt in your interactions, you know, every time you try to talk, your partner is sulking, or your partner is criticizing, or there is a lot of anguish and contempt in your interactions with each other, that is the time we realize that you definitely need to go for relationship counseling. A stressful event has shaken your daily life. There are many events: losing a parent, loss of a child, or any loved one in the family can develop a lot of insecurity and feeling of loneliness in the partner. So we have to also take this into consideration, that there may be a stressful event which has shaken your daily life, and you need to go in for some kind of therapy or counseling sessions. You have trouble making decisions together. You know, usually in a partnership, in a relationship, one person is more dominating than the other person, or, you know, if that is the case, usually the person who is more dominating usually takes all the decisions and the other person gives into it. But nowadays, with women being equally independent and financially strong, they too want to take decisions, and there is a lot of conflict happening here, and there is trouble making decisions together. So that is again a red flag for us to understand that this person needs to go in for therapy. Again, if you have experienced any kind of infidelity, addiction, or potential abuse, if there is any kind of substance abuse, any kind of addiction, or you're having an extramarital affair, or there is a long-standing potential use of alcohol or cigarette smoking, or having some kind of other substance which is not tolerable to your partner, then again, this is a major issue for us to go in for relationship therapy. Again, if you want a stronger relationships, you somewhere down the line feel that this relationship is not good enough and I'm not getting the emotional and the physical and other aspects that makes this relationship complete, so you want to make this relationship stronger, that is the time you also go in for relationship therapy. Remember that there is no wrong reason to seek relationship counseling. Some couples, they start therapy as soon as they are married, even without obvious problems, to prevent serious problems from developing. Counselors can help you become a better communicator, develop strong relationship skills, and improve your family's happiness. This is so nice that nowadays the young couples, they realize the importance of having a harmonious relationship, and they start therapy as soon as they are married, even without any obvious problem. But in order to prevent any serious problem, because everybody may not be effective in their communications, so this is so good that they have relationship therapy and counseling right from the beginning. So let us keep in mind that the average couple waits 6 years before seeking therapy. This is just hypothetical. Suppose we are taking it as an example. This is a lot of time to let problems fester. At this point, troubled relationships are difficult to save. It is therefore important to acknowledge the problems early and seek therapy as soon as possible. Problems with relationships are not limited to romantic ones, even though that's the most popular reason couple consultant for relationship therapy. Relationship therapy isn't just for married couples, cohabiting couples, people in non-monogamous relationship, LGBTQ people also will benefit from this. It can also be helpful for siblings dealing with family issues or even business partners. I think somebody is trying to get in. Is there any problem? I hope everything is clear.
Yeah. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I feel let us understand the importance of premarital counseling. When two people are engaged and committed to be in a relationship that is going to take them towards marriage, bringing up family, bringing in children. You know, why I feel this is more important than marriage counseling also, because it's always better to be single than to get into a bad marriage and then separate and have children's abandoned and coming from broken homes and then again having mental health issues. So premarital counseling is very important, and it is very much common these days that people are aware that before getting into a commitment, they need some kind of counseling to communicate effectively with their partner, and whatever give and take is to be done is clearly mentioned. And even we have couples who go in for live-in relationships, or they go in for contractual marriage, because nowadays everybody is so focused and so busy with their careers that they do not have time for any kind of negativity which is going to waste their life in any way. So premarital counseling is definitely the need of the hour. It is a type of relationship therapy that helps prepare couples to enter into a long-term commitment. This type of counseling focuses on helping couples develop a strong and healthy relationship before marriage and identify any potential problems that might lead to issues down the road. Because we all come with our baggage, we all have our expectations, we all have our demands, and to convey it to your partner is solving half the problem, because everybody knows who wants what. Otherwise, if we keep it inside us and we are not able to communicate, it just blows up into bigger issues later on. Now, some of the relationship issues that might be addressed during premarital counseling include values and beliefs, because we come from different families, we have different values, our beliefs, our culture, our upbringing, everything is different. So these issues regarding the values and beliefs have to be made very clear right from the beginning. Secondly, I feel the roles and responsibilities that one is expecting the other person and own self to carry out in a relationship has to be made crystal clear, because it's going to be a big issue once you have a family of 2 and then you become 3 and then you become 4, and then the entire burden comes on one person, and then there is a lot of frustration and anxiety and stress. So it's very important that we make it clear. Thirdly, I feel that in today's world, where this generation has become more or less very emotionally invalid in a way, and why I say so, because they are not having so much of emotions as the previous generation. So sex and affection too has taken a toll. People are working, they have careers, they have jobs, and they are not able to give enough time to their partner. So it's very important that in premarital counseling, we should make them understand what is expected from this relationship. Fourthly, the finances, who is going to contribute how much and who is going to spend how much, and how are they going to plan their house, their car, their garden, whatever. The finances has to be worked out right from the beginning. Communication again is the root. I feel if the communication is effective, there'll be no issues whatsoever. And also with today's generation, what I have seen with my clients, it's very important to discuss about children. It's not about one child or 2 children. It is basically whether they do want to have children or not at all. Most of the couples, they do not have the time and they do not have the inclination. So if one partner wants to have a child and the other partner doesn't want to have children, it's very important that it is made clear right from the start. And after having children, what are the parenting choices, whether it's going to be absolutely authoritarian or it's going to be completely democratic, or whether they want to have a very child-friendly environment. Everything has to be sorted out right from the beginning. So how do these people, they find a relationship therapist? Firstly, it is important for us to be aware of the avenues that they have to find a relationship therapist. And so we can create awareness for therapy as well as the awareness to reach out and look for any kind of assistance from a professional mental health worker. So there are a number of professionals who can offer relationship therapy, including clinical psychologists, registered marriage and family therapists, licensed counselors, and licensed clinical social workers. Remember that even though their title says marriage, you do not need to be married to benefit from relationship counseling. So although going to the internet is the most people's first impulse when looking for a therapist, asking for a reference from people is more effective way to start. If you live in an urban area, there are probably hundreds of qualified therapists, and making the choice can be really overwhelming. If people have successfully worked with a therapist, there is a good chance they might work for you too. If you can find references from people there are many other ways to find a qualified therapist, such as a professional directories. You can even seek out online relationship counseling if that is more convenient for you and your partner. So take advantage of the free consultation that many therapists offer for potential new clients. This is a great time to see if the particular counselor suits your needs, style, and budget. Therapist-client relationship can affect your life in many profound ways, so you have to choose wisely. These are some of the points I have jotted down so it can help us create awareness amongst us as counselors as well as amongst clients, so that they know that where and how they need to reach out to help from professionals. So now we are coming to the online relationship counseling. This is another very important and now a very pertinent need of the hour because of COVID-19 and the lockdown. Online counseling has come up in a big way, and we need to work on our skills to help people with all kinds of stresses and anxieties in order to take away the stigma that was there for counseling, because online counseling gives us a lot of privacy, and it also gives a lot of confidentiality, and it also helps the clients feel confident interacting online. So online relationship counseling, I feel, is the need of the hour. So if the traditional face-to-face therapy won't work for you and your partner, online counseling can be a great option. There are a number of reasons why you might want to try online therapy. You and your partner live in different locations. This might apply to people who are in long distance relationships or those who are separated and considering a permanent split. They're already living in two different places. So for them, coming online is a better way than to interact face to face. So online therapy services give both partners the option to participate even though they live apart. Again, if you travel frequently for work, online options allow people to benefit from counseling no matter how busy their schedule is or where in the world they are located. You and your partner are not comfortable with traditional therapy. Some people just do not have the confidence to face, they live in denial. So face-to-face therapy can be challenging, uncomfortable, and even anxiety provoking for some people. So web-based solution can make relationship counseling much more accessible. So it's always easy for us to, get their confidence and, able to keep the confidentiality and interact with them online on a fixed session basis with different partners in different locations at different times. And here I also want to mention something that I should have said right in the start, is what I feel personally with my clients, that the person behaves, as we all know, different with different people. The husband may be very different while talking to the counselor, and may be very different while talking to the wife, and may be very different while talking to his mom. So a person has different faces in front of different people. And again, also for us to understand that the person has different phases in different points of his own life. He may be an introvert at some time in his life, and he may not be an introvert at some point in his life. So it's a different person with different people and a different person at different times. So online counseling can help us recognize these patterns in people, and we as counselors can bring a stability in their personality and in their relationships, and also elevate the problems that are creeping then and now. So I hope it is clear to everybody. Now, what are the tools that we can use online? Online relationship counseling services tools such as online chats, video sessions, and phone calls where couples can talk to each other and their therapist. You and your partner will work to create goals that you would like to achieve in therapy, which may include addressing problems related to communication, arguments, or infidelity. So what to expect? The first few sessions will focus on your history and the problems that you are there to solve. Be prepared to answer questions about your relationship, your parents, your childhood, and relationship experiences before your current one. Your therapist will possibly want to spend some time talking to everyone together and to each member separately. The way your therapy is going to go depends on the style of your counselor and the therapeutic approach they use. The most studied style of relationship therapy is emotionally focused therapy, or EFT, and it is based on the attachment theory and the aims to foster healthy interdependency between members of the couple or family. Other types of relationship therapy include the imagotherapy and the Gottman method. Ask your counselor which method they are trained in and which one they think is more suited for your situation. So these are the different kinds of theories and therapies that we as counselors will follow for relationship counseling. So how to make the relationship therapy more effective? Effective therapy depends not only on the skills and experience of the counselor, but also on the willingness of the clients. There are many things you can do to make your relationship counseling more effective. So number one, which is there for all relationships, is to be honest. Do not lie to your therapist. Sometimes we lie because we don't want to be judged. You know, we try to put up an act, and like I said, we have different faces for different people. However, your therapist's job is not to judge you, but to help you. So stay honest even when it is hard. Secondly, prepare yourself for discomfort. Therapy can often cause discomfort because you're discovering new truths about yourself. Not all of them nice and happy. Working on yourself requires that you sit with your discomfort and acknowledge that you need to grow and improve. Your therapist is there to help, but ultimately it is up to you to do the work. Whether you accept it or you don't accept it, it's entirely up to you, is what I mean to say. Listen to your partners. Whether you are doing relationship therapy or one person or a larger family group, it's important to listen what others have to say. Remaining on the defensive and trying to reply to everything that others bring up about your behavior is only going to make things more difficult for everyone. This is so important, because every time there is a couple and they're arguing and there's a confrontation and one person just gets defensive, it reaches a dead end. So it's very important for them to understand that it's not going to help if the other person doesn't come up with the power to listen to what the others have to say. put in the time. Therapy happens just as much in sessions as it happens in between them. The counselor might give you homework or ask you to try new patterns of communication and interaction in between appointments. It's going to take time and effort, but remember that it is worth it. In the end, it's the work that all members of the relationship put in to make that difference in the results of the therapy. Do not expect the therapist to be a wizard who's going to make all your problems disappear. So, it's very, very important to make the person understand that it is up to them whether they want the relationship to work or not. So there are times when then your partner refuses to come for therapy. So what do? Even if you believe that your relationship can benefit from therapy, your partner might not be willing to participate. So what can you do in that situation? It is important to remember that you cannot force your partner into counseling. Counseling will not work until and unless the person realizes from inside the importance to accept counselors. So all you can ultimately do is see a therapist on your own and work on the issues you are facing as an individual and at least help yourself feel better. So what you learn in relationship counseling, many couples are hesitant to begin relationship counseling because they are not sure how it can help them. You may feel as if traditional methods or therapy won't work for you, or maybe you don't understand the options. On the other hand, you might be sure that you want help, but you don't know what to expect. In counseling, you learn about skills, very important, communication and problem solving. Then your therapist can help you apply them to your relationship. Before long, you'll be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor in a happy, stable relationship. So relationship counseling statistics, let us try to understand that what percentage of people actually reach out for help. Because does relationship counseling work? Can therapy sessions save a marriage characterized by arguing and constant negativity? Statistics show that counseling for couples is likely to help communication and other important aspects of a relationship. It can be difficult to cope if you feel like everyone around you is in a healthy, happy relationship. But when it comes to relationship issues, you are not alone. Fortunately, relationship counseling can help heal your partnership, leaving your relationship on a much better term. Some statistics reports shows that 38% failure rate for couple who attended family therapy. Other sources report a 98% of couples considering counseling as a success. Ultimately, the success of couples counseling will depend on your willingness to engage with the treatment. So again, we should underline the word willingness to engage with the treatment is completely yours. So here we have been discussing what we are going to identify our clients with, what we are going to create awareness on relationship counseling so that people understand the urgency and the need to come for counseling. And now we are going to discuss that how we can make it work. When you begin relationship counseling, the attitude of both partners can determine their success. While it may be self-evident that those seeking professional counseling want help to change, this is not always the case. With couples, there may be other factors that prompt them to consider counseling, and these dynamics are not always optimal for success. For instance, some people only want to show that they have given serious effort to save their relationship. कि ओके भैया हमको काउंसलर के पास जाना है, द जज हैज टोल्ड अस वी हैव टू गो, वी वेंट फॉर काउंसलिंग, वी ट्राइड, नहीं हुआ, finished. So it just is a part of a formality. But there are again others who may be genuinely caring about their partner, but they have already decided to leave the relationship. So they choose to attend the counseling to ensure the partner connects to a supportive therapist before their imminent departure. This is another type of client which may understand that this counseling is not only for getting us back together, but as a supportive therapist, that after separation and the imminent departure, you have somebody to connect to, somebody to talk to. That said, in many couples, both parties are sincerely open to improving their relationship by receiving support, assistance, education, and counseling. In this case, these couples will reap the benefits of open-mindedness as well as a willingness to listen to their partner. In surveying couples attending therapy for the first time, 5 more surprising lessons stood out. Number 1, relationship counseling is not about he said, she said. Most qualified expert in relationship counseling know there is no winner in a game of he said, she said. So blaming, victimization, woe is me stories are not encouraged. Counseling isn't about who was right or wrong. It is about repairing trust and re-establishing the boundaries. While a single person can choose to end any relationship, healthy relationships require the participation of both parties. And we can learn a lot from our partners. For instance, sometimes the very qualities in our partner that drives us crazy are the qualities that we possess. Instead of complaining, we will benefit if we look at our own behavior first. If I tend to complain that my partner never listens to me, I may want to consider how well I listen to him. If I find myself feeling hurt because he is not paying attention to me, I can evaluate how emotionally I am attending to him. So this is not always that the blaming game and the victimization card is going to help. We need to understand that we need to look inside us also if we have to solve the problem. So one of the greatest sources of conflict in relationships is misunderstanding, much of which originates from miscommunication. Therefore, a common part of relationship counseling is about communicating effectively and developing conflict resolution skills. We may be truly astounded by how much conflict is the result of a simple misunderstanding. In counseling, you will learn productive tools for managing conflict like healthy listening skills, speaking for oneself rather than for the other person, listening more than speaking, asking open-ended questions to gather more complete and accurate information from the other person before responding, using mutually respectful time-outs, and learning the differences between passive-aggressive and assertive communication. It is helpful to recognize that change and blame are mutually exclusive. We have no control over anyone other than ourselves. Of course, we influence others, but we do not have the power to force another person to change. The more we focus our attention on our partner, the less it may even occur to us to look at our own behavior. You know, all our energy is focused on the other person and we kind of forget to look at our own self. And because we can't compel our partners to change, such attempts only lead to feeling more out of control. It is much more productive for each partner to focus on themselves. Relationships are systems where change in any one part automatically creates change throughout the system. There is greater hope and likelihood for change when we commit to changing our own selves. So it's very important for the counselor, for the relationship expert to explain that it is very difficult to change the other person, but it is much more easier to change yourself, and that is going to bring about a harmony in the communication and relationship pattern. The first few visits are informal, informational. Don't expect major conflict. Most counselors start with a simple question and answer session, asking both partners to explain their history as well as the problem. So you will get a chance to talk and tell your side of the things. And the first few sessions establish the tone of counseling and the goals you have as a couple seeking to improve your relationship. Many relationship counselors prefer that the initial session include both partners. So this helps to ensure the foundational dynamic of the therapeutic relationship with the couple as a client, rather than only one of the partners as the primary client. However, it is also quite common for a clinician to strongly recommend, if not required, at least one individual session for each partner immediately following that first joint session. This allows each partner to share whatever they need to express without concern and how their partners may interpret their comments. It also allows the clinician to observe how the partners interact both together and separately. This is so important for us as counselors to understand that the interaction with the counselor and with the partner, and when both of them come for counseling together and when they are coming separately, is all going to be very different and complicated, but we will have to draw lines from that. It is wise to note that often things seem to escalate before improving in counseling. This is because we often wait to seek counseling, and in the interim, we create coping mechanism to help us live with the difficulties of our relationship. Most coping mechanisms serve in some way to minimize our awareness of those issues. However, counseling generally requires that we bring everything out into the light. This can cause an increase in both awareness and intensity while working effectively through the counseling process. Please do not be alarmed if you experience this to some extent. It is very normal to be expected, so you can view it as an evidence of progress if it doesn't feel that way. It is not all about, and tell me why you feel that way. You know, the first few sessions might be calm, but as the counseling progresses, the therapist becomes a mediating force. Someone who highlights the real problems that exist in the couple's communication or personal habits. According to one marriage counselor, the traditional passive, okay approach is useless. Many individual counselors are also much more interactive than their stereotype of a counselor, that we are just there as mute spectators or listeners. These stereotypical counselors may display primarily unconditional positive regard. They trust that each partner has all of the answers inside them, so they only need warmth, support, and encouragement to access their inner wisdom. However, relationship counselors almost always need to be more instructive, directive, interactive, and to serve the best needs of their clients. Relationship counseling is about starting a new relationship with each other, not continuing with the business as usual. According to Psychology Today, the real goal of couples counseling is to change the way both partners view the relationship. It's about the respectfully confronting each other listening to each other, and then learning to see the relationship in a more objective manner. In doing so, couples learn to stop blaming each other and instead look at the marriage or relationship as a team project. The longer you have been in your relationship, the easier it is to get stuck in the way you view your partner. This can interfere with your partner's ability to make the changes, and you may have been requesting for years or decades. We all tend to resist change, even when it is completely personal, involving no one from the outside world. Therefore, it is prudent to be aware of the ways you might try to derail or obstruct your progress. When you're in relationship counseling, you'll also want to be cognizant of the extent to which you may resist your partner's attempts to grow. If you want the changes to occur, you must be intentional about allowing for change. It is an underlined statement. You have to be allowing the partner to be ready to accept the change. So basically, this is all about our own attitude, our own mental health, our own optimism, our own thinking pattern, that how we can make a logical relationship out of something that would have gone into an illogical manner. So can counseling help a relationship? Now I'm basically towards the end of my presentation, taking up some questions that I'm frequently asked. So can counseling help a relationship? Counseling can not only help a relationship, but it can save it if both partners are dedicated to change. So there is a big if here. An excellent couples counselor can see both sides and help the partners to communicate. People's relationship go through all sorts of challenges, and you may find that you and your partner are growing apart. However, relationships in couple therapy have the opportunity to grow and change positively. When should you see a relationship counselor? There are many times that a relationship counselor can help. Maybe you are struggling with communication. Perhaps one partner has a mental health issue and the other partner doesn't know how to support them. Suppose he's depressed, or suppose he's suffering from an anxiety disorder, or suppose he's having schizophrenia and the other partner doesn't know how to support them. You could see a relationship counselor, and if you are trying to separate peacefully, you might want to work through issues surrounding infidelity, trust, sex, relationship issues. There are many concerns that you can address in couples therapy. You and your partner can decide what priorities are and go from there. Another question is that, will the marriage counselor ever suggest divorce? A skilled marriage counselor won't tell a couple to separate. Only the two people in the relationship have the right to make that final decision. However, the counselor can guide the couple through a peaceful separation or divorce. So it is very important for the counselor to help prepare you, enrich you, and build strong marriages which will last a lifetime. How many marriages that survive after counseling? It is hard to say how many marriages make it after seeing a counselor. However, according to recent statistics, over 75% of these relationships improve as a result of the couples counseling. How can I save my relationship? You and your partner need to be dedicated to working through the problems in your relationships. And if you are both willing to compromise and talk out some serious issues, the relationship stands a chance to survive. How often do couples argue? The answer varies depending on the relationship. However, what The most important thing is how they disagree. If you and your partner can communicate with one another in an honest, non-judgmental way, it is a sign of a stable relationship. You don't have to raise your voice to argue. You can diplomatically communicate your needs. This is what we are not trained and educated to do. We might be engineers, doctors, teachers, even counselors, but when it comes to communicating diplomatically your needs to your partner, we often fail, and that is what is the root and leads to arguments and further issues in any relationship. How do you rebuild trust? To rebuild trust in a relationship, you have to choose to forgive. There's that old saying, forgive and forget. You can't forget what has happened that made you hurt or angry, but you can learn to forgive someone you love for how they hurt you. So it's always better to be wise than to be foolish. Please make use of all the skills to save a relationship, to save a marriage, because you have decided to be together for a certain reason, and that reason you have to carry on forward and make a wise decision. So why do couples seek counseling? Couples, they seek counseling for many reasons, including improving their sex life, working through trust issues, talking about infidelity, peacefully separating, learning to communicate better, and working on shared relationship goals. So do marriage counselor take sides? A good marriage counselor remains impartial and sees both points of view. You are there to see that the person is coming to you as a team. You don't want the therapist to take your side or your partner's side, no matter who the problem lies with. They must remain neutral so they can effectively help you. So how do you fix a sexless relationship is a very frequently asked question again. So if a sex relationship is lacking, it is something you can discuss with a couples therapist. Ultimately, the emotional issues are causing the sexual ones. Like we all know, it's all in the mind. So a couple counselor can help you figure out what those issues are and support the couple in working through them together. How do you know if your relationship is worth saving? You only know if you try. Couple therapist is an excellent place to figure out if the problem in your relationship are the ones that you can work through together. If you are at the point where you are worried about breaking up, consider trying couple counseling first. Then you can make a definitive decision. If you are considering relationship therapy, it is important to prepare for what's to come, and with the right attitude and effort, you can solve all of your relationship problems. It may take some work, but at times it will be uncomfortable and it will always be worth it. So I have come to the end of my presentation, and I hope that I have been briefly able to touch all the points, and it's almost 1 hour now. So I think we are at the end of the presentation, and maybe Divakar sir is there. He is in a cab off to somewhere. Anybody has anything to contribute, and I would gladly accept that too. Please, we can interact now shortly for 5 minutes before we close this session. Thank you.
Yeah, Jyoti ma'am, I must appreciate for your wonderful presentation on this into the various aspects. I would like to...
I'm not able to hear you. I lost you in between. Can you please
repeat? Okay. Ma'am, I appreciate for your this today's evening, this insightful session.
Yes, sir.
We are getting a lot of information on this marital and all other kinds of relationship. I would be interested to know how with the LGBT community, the issues, even their issues with the society and issues among themselves and all, how that can be resolved through this relationship counseling, ma'am. Can you throw some
But
light on?
actually, I feel that relationship counseling is only for the couple or people who are in a relationship. And those who are coming from this community are usually not having any issues amongst themselves, but it is the society or the family or their connected people who try to stigmatize, or they try to kind of victimize them, or try to break them up or create problems. So we need to counsel people who are connected with the couple who is in coming from such community, and we need to basically approach a group therapy or an approach with the larger audience, not just the couple, because they always don't have any issues amongst each other.
Hello, ma'am. This was a wonderful session, and even I do get a good insight and need to do work on this. I like this, but I have been gone through so many relationships. Like usually, women's get problems in the late 40s, adjustment problem, because at that time she got so many things optimized in her mind. She has been trying to adjusting and all. But
Yes,
later on, she got problems. How to adjust now? What to do now? कहाँ तक मैं करूँगी?
yes.
This is the problem women are going.
Yes, yes, ma'am, you're right. Because, menopause in itself is a midlife crisis for most women, which the other members in the family, they refuse to kind of understand or pay attention to. Number one. Number two, अगर आपने शुरू से एक पैटर्न बना दिया है कि हमेशा आप ही एडजस्ट करोगे, आप ही सबमिट करोगे, तो अब आप 47 में आके चाहोगे कि बाकी लोग चेंज हो और वो एडजस्ट हो, so it's not going to happen,
That's very
because
true.
that habit has already been formed. So उसको unlearn करना will be very difficult. But yes, definitely for our own peace and our own physical and mental health, it is better, like I said in the presentation also, to focus on yourself and change your own self. अगर हम खुद को बदलेंगे तो सामने वाला शायद बदल जाए, पर अगर हम सामने वाले को ही बदलने की कोशिश करेंगे तो
Possible.
it's not going to help us in any way.
Yes, it's true, but sometimes things happens कि अब वो चाहती है कि कुछ तो expectations मैं कहाँ तक करती रहूंगी, कुछ तो expectations मेरी भी है, but nobody understands that
आप कर
expectations.
सकते हैं, आप उतना ही करिए और आप बोल दीजिए कि अब मैं इससे ज्यादा नहीं कर सकती हूँ. So you have to know where to draw the line.
Yeah.
So
At this time, husband wife might have some conversational gap and so many things they get. So women get in depression.
yes, like I said, menopause also causes a lot of hormonal changes and loneliness, because children have grown up, they are going off. It is an empty nest, you're stuck alone, and you have not done anything for yourself. So you have only dedicated your life to family and to husband and to children. And after they've all left you and gone on their journey, you become lonely, you become depressed, and there are a lot of mental health issues. So that is what I'm trying to say again and again, that we need to create awareness that you have to focus on yourself and your own physical and mental health. आप अपने ऊपर ध्यान दीजिए और जितना आप कर सकते हैं उतना क्लियरली कम्युनिकेट करिए. इससे ज्यादा हम कुछ कर भी नहीं सकते हैं स्टेज पे.
Yes, very true. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
वेलकम.
In this process,
Yeah, Divakar sir, are you on the line?
Yeah.
I'm facing a lot of network problem, I think.
Yeah, I think sir is out.
Yeah, Jyoti ma'am, thank you so much. I'm Dr. Rupa. I'm on the same plane, the relationship counselor. Thank you so much, so crisp, so elaborating presentation. You have touched, I feel, all the area which was required to hear by us as a couple and as a therapist as well. Thank you so much. Very informative, very enjoyable. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, ma'am. We are all here to help each other. I think it's the right time to give back to the society, and we must come together and do more sessions like this so that we learn from each other, as well as, you know, we can help those in need also.
Yeah, ma'am. I have a question. Rather, it's a little more complex, but we have time for 2-3 minutes further.
I think, ma'am, it's already past 8 o'clock. I have an appointment, but
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you. Right. It's okay if you are getting your contact number and all or email.
Yes,
I will having this time further conversation with you on
yes,
other
ma'am. Should I
modes.
put it in the chat group? Will it be convenient for you to
It
know
would be
that?
great, ma'am, if you
Yeah.
provide your
Yeah,
contact detail to
I'll
us.
give you my number. This is my number and my email ID. I'm also having a page on Facebook, Self-Help Counseling Center. If you will like it, I'll be very grateful. And I would like to know your opinions on all my projects and events that I keep doing regularly.
Definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
So I think we can stop the session here. Divakar sir, I don't know if he's there. We can otherwise.
Hello, ma'am. Is it possible to share the presentation, ma'am, PPT today?
Sir, I will try. I really don't know because it's done by the counseling center. So
Okay.
most of it was quite there on the screen. I will
Okay.
talk to Divakar sir and we can how to do that.
Yeah. Please, ma'am, if you can.
Okay, sir. I think Divakar sir का connection problem हो रहा है, so we can just end the session here. And it was wonderful meeting all of you, and look forward to more interactive sessions. And
Ma'am, are you able to listen me, Dr.
yes,
Rupa
yes,
here?
yes.
I would prefer to take this initiative on behalf of Divakar sir. Jyoti ma'am, thank you so much for sparing time, dedicating such a wonderful presentation, such a wonderful explanation. Really, we are glad to have you today. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Good day, ma'am, and good night.
Yeah, I'm ending the meeting now. Thank you.
Yeah, please. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Welcome.